Welcome back to our deep dive in understanding what the coronavirus is, how it works, why it's led to a pandemic, and most importantly, how we can learn to protect ourselves both now and in future pandemics. Last episode, we learned that viruses are tiny non-living invaders that use spike proteins on their surface to sneak inside our cells, which they convert into virus factories. Now that we have a basic understanding of how viruses affect our cells and cause infection, let's take a look at how our body's immune system is designed to fight off invaders. You might be super grossed out to hear this, but you're surrounded by bacteria and viruses. In fact, you're covered in them right now. But don't panic and run for the shower. As much as it might disturb you to know that bacteria and viruses are everywhere, keep in mind that they're not all disease-causing agents called pathogens. Even when it comes to the ones that do cause disease, you're not helpless because your body is home to a powerful, state-of-the-art defense system called the immune system. Your immune system is composed of many different specialized cells and proteins that work as a team to protect you. Pathogenic microbes, like bacteria and viruses, are constantly trying to invade you because your body is a safe place filled with nutrients they need to survive. Thanks to your immune system, many infections caused by these pathogens can be limited and avoided altogether. Your body is filled with various special cells called immune cells, or white blood cells that patrol your bloodstream and stand guard near body openings to catch pathogens. Just like an army, these cells have specialized jobs and work together to assist in protecting you. They make up a coordinated team, which is your immune system. The various types of immune cells in your body can be broadly grouped into two categories that perform different but important functions in your protection. One category is innate immunity, and the other is adaptive immunity. Together, they form two interrelated parts that make up your entire immune system. Innate immunity provides rapid defense against most general threats. The immune cells of this category are great at preventing bacteria and viruses from successfully getting into your body and establishing an infection. This is why you don't get a horrible infection every time you get a paper cut or a scrape on your knee. Adaptive immunity provides specialized defense against pathogens that get past your innate immunity. The immune cells of this category are strong, but need more time to kick into action. But as a bonus, once these cells come into play, they're capable of learning about their enemies, so that they can launch a much faster attack the second time the same pathogen appears. This is why after you catch the flu, the same strain of flu virus won't be able to establish a powerful infection in your body the way it could before, which creates the basis of what we call immunity. The purpose of innate immunity is to fight off pathogens using general defense mechanisms before they can start an active infection in your body. Innate immunity includes barrier defenses and internal defenses. Barrier defenses are the first line of defense that block pathogens from getting to your tissues. For instance, your skin effectively keeps out pathogens when intact, but it can't seal off your entire body, or you wouldn't have a nose to breathe with or a mouth to eat and drink with. Thankfully, other barrier defenses are positioned at the openings to your body that help block or destroy pathogens trying to enter, such as your powerful stomach acid that breaks up any bacteria tagging a ride with your food. If pathogens somehow get past your barrier defenses, your internal defenses or second line of protection are the cells of the innate immune system, which detect, devour, and destroy invading pathogens. Since it's important for immune cells to distinguish body cells from foreign cells, we're lucky that they can recognize foreign structures or molecules that many invaders have in common with each other. These common structures produce a pattern that makes it possible for our cells to identify the invader as a bacteria or virus, but not specifically what kind. Different types of innate immune cells have different jobs that allow them to provide well rounded protection to your body. Macrophages and dendritic cells are two of the most important players of innate immunity. While macrophages roam your body hunting for pathogens, dendritic cells are stationed like guards in tissues near the environment, such as your skin or the lining of your nose, lungs, and stomach. Both macrophages and dendritic cells are phagocytic, meaning they engulf pathogens and break them down. However, they don't stop there because they have a second job called antigen presentation. After phagocytosis, they'll select an antigen or fragment of the chute of pathogens that can be used as a unique ID tag to alert other immune cells that the body is under invasion. To do this, they must present this ID tag on their surface using a protein arm, waving it around until they get the attention of the right immune cells. Macrophages and dendritic cells work with other team members of the innate immune system, such as neutrophils and mast cells, natural killer cells who perform a different job that involves destroying invaders, communicating threats to each other, and recruiting help to the site of a tough battle using various chemical signals. Your bloodstream is also flowing with many antimicrobial proteins that help break down pathogens. When you scrape your knee, you've likely noticed that your injury gets inflamed, meaning it gets red, swollen, painful, and hot to the touch. This can feel horrible, but it's actually your body rushing to your defense by widening the blood vessels near your injury so your army of innate immune cells and antimicrobial proteins can flood the area. Sometimes, when you get really sick, you'll develop a fever, which is a stronger version of inflammation that involves your innate immune cells doing battle throughout your body. Normally, a fever is meant to help you overcome whatever virus is infecting you, but a high fever can become dangerous since prolonged high temperatures can damage your own cells too. Your innate immune system may be strong, but it's not perfect. Sometimes it's not enough to stop the pathogens that want to take over your body, which is why adaptive immunity is so important to fight those extra gnarly infections. While innate immunity offers general protection against most threats, adaptive immunity specializes in combating those few but particularly tough invaders. Your adaptive immune system is made up of two families of cells, the B cells and the T cells. Your B cells focus on hunting pathogens free floating in your blood, while T cells focus on identifying virally infected or cancerous body cells for destruction. B cells and T cells are covered in special protein receptors that allow them to identify a foreign invader when they fit lock and key style with a specific and unique feature on the pathogen. That feature functions like a unique fingerprint that allows B and T cells to specifically distinguish who the enemy is apart from all other invaders. Your body produces millions of B and T cells, each one with a different protein receptor that allows them to meet their perfect match. Having a perfect match means that when activated, your B and T cells are extremely accurate in targeting invaders. But the downside is this can take a while to happen since your body is a vast landscape for one tiny cell to patrol. Your body makes such a huge number of different B and T cells because it's trying to anticipate every possible invader that might come along. B cells jump into action after meeting their perfect match. Once they do, they recognize that you're under attack and immediately begin dividing to produce more B cells with the same protein receptor as the one initially activated. Two types of B cells are produced: plasma cells and memory B cells. Plasma cells act as antibody factories, rapidly making and releasing antibodies into your bloodstream to round up those pathogens for destruction. Those antibodies are exactly the same as the protein receptor on the activated B cell, except it's now free floating. Antibodies, just like the B cell receptor, can grab onto the invader by finding its unique fingerprint. This is helpful because antibodies are Y shaped and have two arms that allow them to grab onto more than one pathogen, cupping them together to make it easier for your phagocytic cells like macrophages to ingest them. When antibodies grab onto the spike proteins on a virus, it renders them harmless because with their proteins covered, they're now incapable of tricking their way into more body cells. The memory B cells don't attack, but instead retain a long standing grudge against the invader by memorizing their unique fingerprint. These cells have long lifespans and hang around in your body, waiting to rapidly identify an attack in case the same foe reappears. Now that we've explored the B cell family, let's see what the T cell family can do. T cells provide the third and final line of defense for your body. Their job is to check up on your body cells and make sure that none of them have been converted into a virus factory. Similar to B cells, T cells also have a unique type of protein receptor on their surface. T cells use their protein receptor to make contact with a special protein called MHC1 that is produced on the surface of pretty much all your body cells. This MHC1 molecule is like an ID tag that lets the T cell know that everything is normal. If your body cells become virally infected, they will use their enzymes to chop up a virus particle and present a unique fragment to the next T cell that patrols by. Keep in mind that once a body cell is infected, it can't be saved. However, it can save other cells by waving around the antigen fragment like a distress beacon to alert T cells of the infection, similar to antigen presenting cells. Much like B cells, T cells also jump into action when they meet their perfect match. Once they do, the T cell will become activated and rapidly divide to produce three types of cells: cytotoxic T cells, helper T cells, and memory T cells. Cytotoxic T cells are filled with toxins that they use to destroy infected body cells in a controlled way called apoptosis, or programmed cell death. This is the way it has to be done because you don't want infected cells to explode in an uncontrollable fashion, spewing viruses everywhere. Helper T cells assist the counterattack against the virus by running off to activate the B cell family. This will alert B cells to watch out for any viruses that have escaped into your bloodstream. In this sense, helper T cells are like conductors that facilitate the activity of the B and T cell family. Memory T cells don't launch a direct attack, but instead store information about the invader so that if it reappears, your adaptive immune system can rapidly fight them off. It is specifically thanks to your memory T and B cells that you have what's called immunity. While it may not make you Superman, it does give you the ability to beat back the same enemy pathogen so that you don't become horribly infected and ill from the same virus. So, what's the takeaway from today's episode? 1. Your innate immune system is composed of two interrelated parts called the innate immunity and adaptive immunity. 2. The innate immune system focuses on rapidly defeating most general threats from infectious bacteria and viruses. 3. The adaptive immune system targets specific pathogens that get past your innate immunity by releasing antibodies, destroying infected cells, and memorizing the invader for future infections. Stay tuned next time to find out what the coronavirus is and how it infects your body.